Hello everyone. Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Charmalee on YouTube. I am Nacola. If you're new here, this channel is for people who are suffering from or are being affected by depression, anxiety, single parenting, child abuse, or any other issues affecting humanity. I am a depression survivor. I have gone through the worst situations, and I'm healed. I'm completely healed from depression. All right, so I created this channel because I want to connect with others and to share information that will uplift you and that will help you along your journey. I also motivate and I inspire at the highest level. I share videos. If these are things that interest you, before you click off, please subscribe, that you will get the upcoming videos that I share when you click the notification bell as well. And comment below to introduce yourself. So today I am going to be talking about some signs of hidden depression. Signs of hidden depression. People are going through a whole lot of situation at this moment in time, period of time, and because I'm a survivor, because I am a survivor, I want to give information that may help you along your YouTube journey. All right, so maybe the information that I'm given is for people who are not suffering from the depression at this time, but for you to identify when your loved ones or your friends are suffering from depression, hidden depression. I was a master of hiding mine. I would usually go to work. I would usually sing and participate in anything culturally, and no one would really know, and a matter of fact, if I said it, I remember saying it once when I felt so burdened down inside with a smile on my face, and I mentioned it to someone who I was friends with at the time, and she said, no, you couldn't be going through that, you look so happy, and you're participating, you're always smiling. And I can tell you that that is definitely one of the signs to know that somebody is masking their depression. Yeah, I mean, people are, it's okay. We go through sadness. We go through sadness. But sadness is only more like a temporary thing, meaning a short-lived situation. It passes quickly. Meanwhile, depression lasts a bit longer than it is supposed to. So the first sign that someone is hiding their depression is that they always think of the worst case scenarios, right? It is very stressful, and it can be beneficial from time to time. A high intelligence seems to be linked with depression, and they're able to respond to anything that comes their way, and this makes them good problem solvers for the most part, great problem solvers, and they're very witty, and I remember Michael Jackson, how he was extremely talented and gifted, yet he was suffering on the inside. And also that man who played Mrs. Doubtfire. Do you remember Mrs. Doubtfire? I don't remember his name at this particular time. Maybe someone can put that in the comment section below. And but he was suffering and nobody knew it. And he was awfully talented. And that is one of the major signs to know that someone is hiding their depression, they're awfully talented. And as I mentioned, a lot of famous people suffered from mental illness, right? And this suffering gives them deeper emotions. And if you really think about it, this is in some form of source for their greatness, right? And while we cannot always see it, their struggles are often very reflective of their work. And these people are able to bring something beautiful out of the darkness, out of the dark world that consumes them, right? During the time I was going through depression, I was singing a whole lot. I was interacting with people. I was invited to parties, and most times I would show up and I would pretend for that short period of time to be okay. And you know what? It takes my mind off my troubles for that period of time, and takes my mind off whatever is bothering me. And subconsciously, it's not any one thing that's bothering you when you're going through depression. It's a whole lot of trauma that you've been through that causes that chaotic feeling inside of you, right? So people with depression, they hurt when other people are hurting. And I mean that when you see sad news and you hear of somebody hurting or dying, or your friends tell you that they're going through a particular issue and it's very painful for them, then it will give you triggers. It will send triggers to your emotional and give you emotionally and give you emotional pain. And the emotional pain can be crippling, sending you a little bit further for that moment, right? They have problems shutting off their brains. Was I thinking a lot? Yes, I used to think a lot. But the thing with depression is that I couldn't identify any one thing that's bothering me. Now when I'm sad, I know what is causing me to be sad. And make no mistake, there is a big difference between sadness and depression. And I'm currently doing another video on that. It's the upcoming video. There's a vast difference between sadness and depression. When people are sad, sometimes you'll hear them say, "Oh, I am depressed," or "This is depressing." But I can tell you, depression is a more deep-rooted issue that is more of a long-term. The sadness will linger on for a long time, and it will be more difficult to snap out of it, than anything else, right? People with depression seem to analyze everything, think about everything, think about things your friends say. Your brains are like sponges, that soak up everything around you, and you internalize it and put your emotions out in a very different way. It can be very difficult and crippling for you. People who are going through it in depression seek love and acceptance. They don't want to be dishonest, right? It's not a case of dishonesty. They're just working to protect their hearts, really, right? And I'm really unscripted at this time, guys. I'm talking from the tip of my head, and I hope that you will receive the information well, because I am thinking of my experiences as well as, just, pulling a little bit from the internet at this time to help you along and putting it out there, so that if you are around your friends and your family all the time and you see these things, you can try to talk to them privately or advise them, give them advice as best as possible to seek help and counseling. Counseling was one big thing that helped me a lot It helped me greatly. And once I started talking about everything that affected me in my childhood, then I seem to have gotten relief. I did get relief at that particular time of speaking, and I don't remember if I was affected the same way thinking about it once I got the counseling. So counseling is really, really very helpful, right? So these people want to be loved and accepted just like everybody else. And sometimes they're not able to express themselves the way they want to if they're in a crowd. Please don't shut them out. We must learn to be sensitive towards others, be empathetic towards them if they're in a group and they're trying to talk. Sometimes it will come across as they're not making any sense, but it does make sense to them what they're saying. I remember I went through this. That's one of the difficulties I face when I am going through depression. I'm not able to express myself eloquently and constructively the way I want to, and this it affects me emotionally and deeply, you know. So the other thing that a person who is hiding their depression, well, another way you can know that a person is hiding their depression is that they are great at covering up stories. They are eloquent in making excuses, right, for the things that they're going through, right? Like when they skip an appointment, they can easily change a subject when things are not going the way they want it to go, right? And they come up with all kinds of attention for the pain and suffering that they're going through, right? Yes. All right. So another big issue is that people who are going through hidden depression or concealed depression have abandonment issues. Gosh, I can't express myself enough about that. I had abandonment issues, and that was one of my major issues, along with abuse, physical abuse from guardians. And they may think it's, they're just correcting your ways, which it's just abuse, physical abuse, and things like that. Because of abandonment issues, right, that if someone is dealing with this, it can be really terrible. Mommy didn't love me, daddy didn't love me, and if they loved me, why did they let me go? It causes the individual to be more secretive about their feelings, as it creates fear, with them being abandoned by their loved ones. I had this issue for a long time, and people knew that mom wasn't really there as much. People knew that dad wasn't there at all until I was in my 30s. I knew about him, and I always knew him. I knew my father very well, but didn't know he wasn't my father. Didn't know he was my father. And those things in the past, you grow up, you see your friends and your relatives around you, they have their father, they have a great relationship, and they seem to be having a cohesive, nice family bond, and you're not in that kind of situation. Of course, your childhood is not total sadness. It cannot be total sadness. I remember I had so much fun running and jumping in the fields and climbing the apple trees, picking apples and eating, and picking pineapples and cutting sugar cane and picking jackfruit and all of those things. It was totally fecund. The place was fruitful and in abundance, and I was free to run around. But there comes a time when you need help with this and you need help with that, and mommy and daddy isn't there, or mommy isn't there, or daddy isn't there, right? So you had issues. That was one of my major problems of the past. And people who are suffering from depression have abnormal eating habits, have abnormal sleeping habits. People with depression will often sleep for what seems like or more literally be days. They sleep at times, but it can be impossible at times when they just don't want to sleep. They would stay up. They would be restless, very restless. And then people who have strange eating habits would either eat too little or eat too much. People with depression may not be able to eat, as I mentioned before, eat much at all when they are at their worst, right? And that said, some of them may eat more when they are at their worst, right? I know I was a big eater. I eat everything around me, right? I just eat. And sometimes they can have thoughts about life and death. I had thoughts about life and death, but it wasn't constant. Whenever it is constant, you know that you're in trouble, right? You are in big trouble. People suffering from depression are often faced with their own mortality in moments of despair, right? And they seek answers to life's deepest questions. They tend to shift from one terrible mindset into another. And sure, not all depressed people deal with suicidal thoughts. Because I know I love my life. I know I wanted to live. I wanted to live, but there was this feeling that I was going through that I just couldn't shake off at all. I couldn't shake it off, right? I could not shake it off. It was really, really horrible. All right. Sometimes people with depression are silent. You don't hear from them. You don't see them. This is called a muted cry for help, right? And at some point or another, we all need help. But when we are, when we're not expecting someone to feel weak or down in the dumps, we don't see their cries for help, right? And if you notice the cries for help, try your best as much as possible to help them anyway. Try your best to help them anyway. You're close to someone, but all of a sudden, you're not as close anymore. And where's that person? They're making excuses because they don't want to come join you in an outing or a day at the park, or they don't want to join you to play dominoes. And this is something that this individual normally is doing or normally does with you. And then they just don't have that interest anymore. So those are some of the things I can really think about of people who have hidden depression. Some people will tend to put out that they're happy. For instance, you see them on social media and they're making every effort to dance as much as possible, and you see them on the statuses. They come on the statuses and you see them smiling a lot, and it looks like they're having a great time, but they're actually masking or concealing their depression, so that the average person would not really identify with that situation that they're going through. So please go ahead and help someone that you know, right? And if you or someone that you care about is really suffering from concealed depression, get help. Get the help you need. You don't have to fight alone. This world is a beautiful world, and fighting alone will not be very productive for you, right? So I was saying that the world is is very beautiful, but it's even more beautiful when you get the help that you desire, right? You don't have to bear your burden alone, and you don't have to look at the fact or look at it this way that you are burdening other people, because the people who care about you, you cannot burden them if you are actually going through this situation called depression. They want to help you, and so extend yourself, allow them to help you. Sometimes I know that people who are going through depression are very stubborn, very, very stubborn, and they make all kinds of excuses. Oh, my hair isn't done. I can't go to the doctor today, and it's just that they're not feeling well. And they're not lazy when you see them lying down sleeping. You're all in the same house, but you see somebody sleeping all the time, then you know that something is wrong. They sleep morning, midday, afternoon, whenever. They're just sleeping all the time. Something is wrong. And I've been in a situation like this, and I didn't get the help that I desire. I knew that I wanted to live and not die. And so I pushed ahead. I researched everything that I possibly could that could assist me in getting rid of my depression, and I did them one by one. Some didn't work, some worked, and the ones that worked, I can try to see if I put the link right here or the video right here for you to pick it up from here, and then I will put a card on the top and you can watch other videos. I healed my depression naturally. Medication was not for me, and medication will not be for everyone. But if you are suffering at this time, please reach out to a mental health professional. We talk about every other sickness that we encounter, and we are afraid. It's so annoying. We are so afraid to talk about our brains, our lovely brains. We are afraid to talk about mental issues. Why? Why is there a stigma attached to it? A stigma, you're afraid that people will classify you as being crazy or mad, whatever terminologies they use, right? To describe the fact that you are hurting, you're aching, you have trauma, right? It is time we put that away. It is time we put it away, be more empathetic and compassionate and kind to the people around us, okay? And so put it away. The world is in a crisis at this moment because we are keeping mental illness, mental sickness quiet. We as human beings, we can be cruel, right? And so there shouldn't be any stigma attached to mental illness. So there's no stigma attached to heart disease. There's no stigma attached to diabetes, except for that you're a little bit fat, and that's fine. You can lose weight, and you'll get over it. That's not the case. And we're not going to call names or call people names at this time. But we can, when you look around, and we can freely talk about every other illness, and we keep mental illness hush. We hush on it. And people are not demented. They just need a little help to go through all the traumas that they have experienced growing up. Because as adults, some of us can be really cruel, especially to children. And so, guys, I have come to the end of the video. I went on a little rant there because I don't see the sense in stigmatizing mental issues. And so it's because of that, the numbers of people who are experiencing this is increasing because they are suffering in silence. All right, guys. So I'll see you in my next video. I'm very happy that you have watched the video to the end. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you so desire to be on this journey with me, where I am free from depression and I want to see you free as well, right? And I'll gladly see you in the next video. I'm currently preparing a video about sadness versus depression, how to know the difference. Please stay tuned and take very good care of yourselves. Remember that you're amazing and you have a right to be a part of greatness, and you are royalty. Take very good care.